name is Pastor Imakote, and my hair and Domi Pillar too. So you come to Shinik, you have a beautiful sight you need to see. Just give Shinik, and you'll be happy you did. My jewelry, buy Kenyan jewelry at Asham, also located at Asham. Call them for all your bridal needs. They'll be there to support you. Again, our catering by Intensive Creations Institute. They do beautiful cakes, nice food, nice decor, and beautiful event planning. You get there, they support you for all your events. You will love to be a part of them. Marriage or family started way back in the Garden of Eden. And we read in Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, that God said it wasn't good for a man to be alone. And so out of his rib, he formed a woman. There we heard man say, this is the bone of my bone, and the flesh of my flesh. And so she shall be called a woman. And Bible says in Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, that for this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and to become one flesh. But you see, we are not able to navigate this as human beings. So in the quest of doing this, achieving this purpose, we always get it wrong. Because we don't know who to choose, how to choose, when and where. And so today I came your way to show you some few things you look out for, so that you'll be able to know which of the gentlemen and the ladies to go out for. All right. We're talking about red flags today. So what are red flags? They are the signs, the dangerous signs we see and ignore, even before marriage. And so these red flags are the very things we find ourselves in when we marry. And it becomes very difficult for us because we cannot live because of these things. So today I want to bring your mind on these few things so that you look out for if you are not married. This show is a family life show, and so we hope to start and to finish family life. So that from the day you were born to the day you passed on, it's all part of the family life. So we will help you navigate it. Today we are here to talk about 10 things that we need to look out for, the 10 flags we need to look out for before we choose our spouse, for both men and women. So we start. The first one we need to look at is you need to look out for a person with a vision. If you go and sit in a taxi or in a trotro in Ghana, here with Ghana we call it trotro. So if you go and sit inside a taxi, Uber or something, your faith is in the hands of the driver. And so you trust that he's taking you exactly to where you are going. If you don't know where you are going yourself, the driver cannot take you. But if you know where you are going, the driver has no choice but to take you there. Even when he goes through the wrong path, you can still direct him to take you back on the correct path. And so I believe that to choose somebody who knows where he's going, because you are going to board his car and to his home, to his destination. So know where you are also going, so that you can journey together. So choose a partner who knows where they are going, somebody with vision, who has foresight, who know where they are taking you, and then you can join their bus. The second thing I would love you to look at, it's someone who is insecure and jealous. Don't go in for somebody who is insecure and jealous. Why? The reason is because you have your life, you have your career, and you have a family, an extended family somewhere before you are about to join yourself to him to form your nuclear family. And so you have a life. So what if your career demands interacting with people and your beloved will be at the other end of the matter trying to disturb you? You talk to a client and he has an issue, and or she has an issue, both are jealous because of one thing or the other. You will not go far. You will not go far as people who wants to marry. So I'm urging you never to look out for somebody who is jealous, okay, and very, very much insecure about your movements. In fact, it will disturb you. So when you see these signs, run very, very far. So the third one is don't marry somebody who is not independent. And when you marry somebody who is not independent, your marriage will be out there because the person cannot take a decision by himself. He can't live by himself. Friends will influence him or her, and they will always go like without people beside them, they can't succeed or survive. My dear, you have issues when you marry somebody like that because for instance, boys are very attached to their mothers and girls are very attached to their fathers. So you have your marital issues out there already. And there are others who like friendship and it's all about friends, you see. So when you go ahead to marry people like that, you realize that your marriage will be somehow because others will be living your life for you. Friends will tell them how to treat you, how to handle you, what to give to you, when and how. And so I don't believe it's the best of things that you marry somebody who is not independent. Again, somebody who is not financially independent, and the person has a future, the person is okay, the person is hardworking, and maybe later in life things can work out financially for the person. Hey, you can go ahead with that one. But when you know the person is very lazy and cannot do anything, even let alone to take decisions for himself, my dear, I need you to run away very far from such a person so that you don't fall a victim to that circumstance. The next thing I want us to look at somebody who is abusive. Somebody who is abusive. Men are very physical, and so they can abuse physically. And then yes, they can abuse verbally too sometimes, but it's rare. But women, we abuse verbally, okay? Because for instance, when a man and a woman are in a room and they are fighting, you can hear from behind the woman's voice, blah 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 blah, and then the man will be in there and say, foolish. And then the woman say, me, you call me foolish? Am I foolish? And then others standing by will be asking, hey, this woman likes quarreling. How come she's saying the man said foolish? Because the man will say it in silence. But we women, we are very loud. So everybody will hear us talk when we are very angry or something. So you see, when you want to marry somebody who is very abusive, whether physical or verbal, my dear, it will give you problems because anger bring aggression. So when you are very aggressive, you can hurt somebody. So I advise you run away from somebody who can be very, very abusive. You see, most of the times before marriage, you don't really realize these things, but the way they speak can let you know who they really are. Behind the makeup, there is a person. Behind the microphone, there is a voice, and so they present the microphone to you, and you feel they are very loud. But know that when you marry, the microphones will not be there, and the makeups will not be there. So there is always a person behind the makeup, and so we need to be very mindful on who to choose. I'm not sure we are in to be abused. So look out for all these red flags, and when you find one, then run away. Okay. Okay. Then the next thing is don't marry somebody who is unforgiving. Unforgiving, my dear. You see, marriage is a life on its own. It's a world on its own. I always say that marriage can make or unmake you. So when you marry, you are living your entire life with another person altogether. And so if unforgiveness becomes the order of the day, then it will really, really worry you, because you offend the person many times over in the marriage. And if the person is not able to forgive you, you have issues many times over. So I urge that you run away from somebody who is unforgiving. The person will talk about 100 years down memory lane, and it will shock you. So you do something today, he addresses the issue, or she addresses the issue as though it was just yesterday, or better still, address the issue 100 years back. My dear, you will not have peace in your home. So during your conversations, trying to know each other better or well, I urge you to be very, very mindful and looking out for that, so that you don't find yourself living in an unforgiving marriage. It will worry you. All right. Okay. The next thing I want us to look at is somebody who is unfaithful. Don't marry somebody who is unfaithful. You see, ladies, when we are coming up and there is a level of infidelity in the relationship, and we force our way to marry the guy, we are like, hey, we've won. And so during the wedding, you see them, like kind of thing. And they try to tease others because they won. My dear, yes, the wedding ceremony is not the marriage. So for the wedding ceremony, he will lift you up when you have to rise up. He will help you kneel down when you need to. He will feed you your first cake, perhaps take a spoon of rice into your mouth, and all that. At that time, he'll be very, very happy to carry you to show people that he really loves you. But hey, after laughing at your other girls that you've won, when you go home, you realize you chose the wrong person. And also the ladies that also cheat, um, my dear, run away, because they will prefer their ex to you, their married husband. And so I would rather you run away from these things, because a woman who is sexually active has explored many other men, knows exactly what she wants. And so if you are not that, or you can't match up to that standard, then you should know that you are in trouble when you marry such a woman. So unfaithfulness is not something to condone in relationship. Run away very far from such a person. The next one is, don't marry someone who does not listen to anyone or any advice. Marriage is not a child's play. And so, like I said, marriage is a world on its own, it's a life on its own. So when you marry somebody who doesn't listen to advice, then nobody can talk to. Then I don't think it's the best of things to do, because when you marry somebody who does not listen to advice, you yourself, either the guy or the lady, you cannot advise the person. The parents cannot advise. Friends cannot advise, because he doesn't listen. So what if you marry and start having issues? Who will talk to him for you on your behalf? Because he's the monarch of all he surveys, and so nobody dares to speak to him or her. And this is very, very, very critical. Um, you see, like I always say, we are all wired differently. Men are different from women. Women, we are emotionally wired, and men are physically wired. They are constructive thinkers, and so they are straight. And so, because they don't have emotions in them, it's difficult to get them to sit, even to talk to them. How much more somebody who doesn't listen? My dear, run very far from such a person. At least you need somebody who has mentors that he looks up to, so that in case of anything, can go back to them to lodge a complaint or something. And so if you are not able to talk to anybody in his family or a friend, then my dear, you are up against a very difficult tension and all that. Run away from such a person. It will not help your relationship. Okay? And so take note of that particular one, because we all need some, we all have people superior over us who play vital roles and positions in our lives. And so if the person doesn't have anybody like that, it means the person doesn't really listen. So my dear, run away from such a person, because you need somebody who you can sit to talk, to advise each other in case there are crises, in case of any crisis. So please watch out for that one. Perhaps marry somebody you share in the same faith as you. Okay, so if you're a Christian, you need to marry a Christian because you understand your language. You speak the same language, and so it's very easy to communicate. And so if you are a Muslim, you marry a Muslim, it works better because you understand your religion and you know how you go about it, so that it is simple for everybody. But when you don't marry somebody from the same faith, they might not understand what you know or what you understand, and it can create chaos. Somebody is holding the Bible, others holding the Quran, and it will not work for you. Somebody would have to go to church on Sunday, another person will have to go to church on Friday. Not necessarily the Muslims or the Christians alone. It's cut across in all religions. So I suggest you marry somebody um, from the same faith, so that you can leave the house together and return together, and then there's peace at home. That way you are able to raise your children in the understanding of your faith, and your children are able to grow according to the level of your faith, and so that they don't derail. Okay, because for us Christians, Bible says you should train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old he will not depart from it. So I believe the Muslims or the other religions also have their own quotations to that effect. So it's best when you marry somebody of the same faith, and then you are able to go on. Then the very last thing I want to share with you is not to marry somebody who is stingy. Somebody who is stingy. When you marry a stingy person, my dear, life will be some way for you. So be mindful. A stingy person will not give you what you need. It's not only not only financially, but when somebody is stingy, they are stingy all around. And so be mindful, so that you don't suffer in marriage. Marriage is a covenant of 100% deal. That's what I say. I don't know what you think, but I believe it's 100% deal. You bring your 100% quota, I bring my 100% quota. So when somebody is stingy, it means that the whole um the whole hula baloo will be built around one person. And when you find a tree standing alone and it's windy, it breaks. But when you go to the bush in the forest, trees don't break like that because they are together. So when you marry a stingy person, or you know the person is very stingy, and you marry the person, then you are up against hell. I trust that this um, beautiful point will help you navigate and to know who to choose, okay, so that you don't do any mistakes in life. And most of the time, if we had the chance to have known these things earlier, perhaps life would have been a bit different. So you can ask those who are married, they will tell you about all these red flags that they ignored, and today it is hitting them very hard. So thank God today you have this knowledge, the burden of knowledge. I need you to take it up and to sit down and listen to it attentively, and to allow this peace to be productive in your life, so that to benefit you and the generation yet unborn. May God bless you. Again, we find ourselves in Oceanic Resort for our location. My beautiful hair makeup by CJ Hair and Beauty Plus, located at Domi Pillar 2, and then my jewelry by M&J Jewelries at Ashiaman, and then our catering by Intet Creations Institute, located in Dansoman. Then our location also at Kolegono. God bless you for joining the Loveshow this time. And I know that it has been helpful to you. Be mindful of the person you say you love. Look out for this point, and it will help you in life. Thank you for joining us on this edition, and we hope to see you on the next edition. God bless you. If you are here and you don't know Christ, I want you to know that there is no life without Christ. So if you want to give your life to Christ, I need you to say this after me. Close your eyes and say this after me. Thank you, Father, for today. And thank you for your word that has come. I want to fall in love with you. Therefore, forgive me of all my sins. Wash me with your blood. Sanctify me, purify me, and make me spotless before you. Father, I pray and I ask you to be my Lord and my personal Savior. Come and stay in my heart. Write my name in the book of life and use me for your glory. Amen. Having said this, you have joined the Christian fraternity. God bless you, and get a Bible-believing church and join and improve upon your Christian walk with Christ. Okay. There are numbers going down the screen. You can call for counseling, for prayers, and for everything you need us for. God bless you as you take the contact and you call us. We'll be expecting your calls. And then if you have any questions to ask, you can go back on our page. We will be there to answer all your questions. The Loveshow is on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, and we're on Instagram. So go back on all our social media handles and ask all your questions. We will be glad to answer you. And then if there are any suggestion there, we'll pick it up and then run with it. Again, if there are anything you want us to discuss, if you put it there, we'll pick it up and then we'll discuss it on the show, so that you could find answers to your questions. God bless you. The Loveshow, shaping families and building godly homes. See you next time. Bye.